good afternoon or good evening, everybody, and welcome, Mark, to the screen. I have an apology to make to everybody for last week. I was sort of caught up in some family business, and like the perfect IT person that I am, I thought, that's fine. I'm in Adelaide. I'll take my laptop. I'll do the show from my son's place. I mean, after all, he does have fibre to the premises, and I thought, beauty, I'll have really fast internet for a change. Got there, got it all set up, hit the StreamYard. It said, please check your phone for the authentication code because you're going from somewhere else. That would be this phone. Hang on, this phone here, which was sitting on my desk back at Manor. So I couldn't get into StreamYard to do a stream. So I apologise for last week. Couldn't even drop a message in or anything. So it was a rather interesting turn of events. So family comes first. It always does. So I apologise for that. Mark, how are you?
Good, mate. Good to be back. So sometimes a week off's good for everybody as well. There wasn't a lot. There hasn't been a lot happening, so it's probably good that we've probably got extra things to talk about this week. Now that we're back. Apologies if anyone can hear some rattling going on in the background. That's my young fella doing his best to destroy the house out there. He's been walking since 9 months and he's 1.5 now, and he's just destroying everything in his path when he can. It's fun. But yeah, other than that, I'm good. I'm very tired. I've had a long day at work. My other job. It's been lots of fun. I didn't get to eat until I got home, so I was hangry. But I'm good now. I'll survive. We've had a little bit of crypto news in this week, but not heaps. But some pretty cool stuff with the stuff that came out.
Yeah,
we didn't get to talk much about what we were going to talk about previously. So feel free to jump in and let me know what you want to talk about, Vince.
Yeah, well, speaking of comments, I should probably look at the comments. Hello, Donna. Thank you for tuning in. And Margot, I'm not sure which way that's said. Welcome aboard. We'll just usually do our general bullshit and talk. I've got a couple of bits and pieces that I want to talk about tonight. One being how long is this bull market going to run? All right, It's just hit another phase right now. And this is the phase where it really starts getting exciting and a lot of people will start entering into it. So that's part one. How long will it run? When will it end? We're going to have a bit of a guesstimation of that. Also, for about 4 or 5 of the top coins, I have some YouTubers who are fairly renowned in the crypto market have done a bit of a price prediction. So that's interesting to have a bit of a listen to as well, but as we go along. So it'll be a bit of a chatty show tonight. We'll see what we can come up with. So first off, I suppose I should do the right thing. You saw at the start there that we had the Donkey Sanctuary up and running for the Donkey Sanctuary Lotto. I was actually going to add that to the screen, which I didn't do, so that was really clever of me. Let me do that share screen thing and go entire screen and go that one and go share. So we are in full screen today. I thought I'd give them a little bit better view of us, Mark, just so we can actually scare the crap out of them. So silent T, Vince. Oh, it is Margot. Thanks, Margot. Okay, got it. No worries. All right, thank you. Got that. So, Donkey Sanctuary. Well, has the weather been playing it well for down there where poor old Sandy is living? 6 floods in a year? What the is going on? And I thought the bull market was crazy. This climate stuff is ridiculous. But so she's probably going to get flooded out again, which means, of course, they're going to have to keep all the donkeys there in the sheds, keep them fed with bales of hay, etc. So any amount of money that we can give them is helpful. And we are still at this stage on stage 4 of the lottery for Voice of Freedom. At the moment, we've got 454 tickets sold of the 750. Once we get through this particular lotto, the next one's coming with a bit of gold. So I think it's a gram of gold. Excuse me, itchy throat. So that's going to have 2 prizes in it. It'll be $750, and it'll also be a gram of gold for a second prize. So that's a pretty exciting thing, and that's going to happen on every 5th lottery that we're doing. Tickets aren't going to go up any for that. We are looking also at an option where we're going to do some silver in the in-between ones, and there's some discussions on whether we increase the number of tickets or not for that to help cover the cost of the silver. But either or, I'm still debating that with young Carl. I call him young Carl because I'm older than he is and I can get away with that. So effectively, guys, it's slowed right down now. Everyone must be paying their electricity bills. I know mine came through. It was shocking. Even though I've got a really good company, and at some stage I've got to do a thing on smart meters on Real Talk with Vince, and I've got a hold of a company who's going to talk about smart meters and how they work and what they can do. So that'll be interesting as well. So Good Samaritan, guys, get in here. You'll find it at Voice of Freedom. Merch at Voice of Freedom website. I'll try and put that up in the link a little bit later when Mark's giving us a bit of a spiel about what he's found out about. So get that in there, because the more money that we can get to that donkey sanctuary and give them some hay, the better off they're going to be. So look into that and see what you can do. If you've got a spare $2 even, it will help. Every bit does. All right, so I'll get that off the screen for now. I've got some other stuff to talk about, but have you got something for us, Mark?
Depends. When you said about the bull market cycle, depends how quickly you want to get into your bull market cycle stuff. It jogged my memory that I think I found a clip that will hopefully be relevant to that discussion. So.
Well,
feel
should
free
probably load that up, mate, because you can play clips and I can't.
Oh yeah, that's yes.
I have no sound from my VM unless I load it directly up in the thing, or I play it as a direct video file.
Fair.
But if I go straight off a browser, no luck. So yeah, you get that all sorted out. I do want to show. We'll talk about the bull market for a second, and I'm going to bring this up.
I've also got a relevant clip. I'm not sure. You said some people have made a prediction.
Some predictions.
I've also have somebody that's made a prediction that I'd like. Yep. That I wonder if you've found the same thing that I've found. It'll be interesting to see. That's one thing I could bring up too. But I guess I'll send you a share screen, right? And we'll.
Yep. Yeah. Just go down there and click that. While you're getting that sorted, I'm going to add this to the stage and take us out of the picture. This is a chart that goes back for a few years ago, and what it does is it actually shows the cycles as they're going through from when we hit the low of the bear market and it clicks into the bull market, and it's the 4-year cycle as it's going through. And you can see it starts down there from November 12, hits there in 16 and then again in 20, right? And here is 2022. And what we find is the gaps from when we hit that market here, this point just here, and it moves up. So you can see it at each point, at the bottom of the bear market to the rise of the bull market.
Your high or low?
I'm high or low, what?
Your high or low is exactly what you're circling there, a high or low each time. It's a low, but it's a high or low each time in the cycle, each cycle.
Yeah. So effectively, it's the start of the bull market, and you can see how far it stretches for, and then it will drop off. And this is the predicted one for this year, right? Even though this chart stops there, but you can see that this is the predicted one for this year. And they're talking, getting up around the nice little amount of around $200,000 for Bitcoin, right? $240,000 for Bitcoin. And they're predicting from these charts that somewhere around December is when the bull market will end. So if you're going to get into this, you have to understand that in this section that we're in here, right, starting up in here now, this is where a lot of these altcoins are going to rise at the end of this peak. When Bitcoin starts to hit its peak and drop off, that's when a lot of the altcoins will take off and really start making their multipliers. So depending which altcoins you've chosen, you could choosing whatever, you could actually make a bit of good coin here. So right now at this stage, Bitcoin's running at about $117,000 American. I do have to say that. And anything you may hear in this program is not financial advice, and we are not financial advisors, just to let you know. But if it does say double and make it to say $250,000, right, that's only a 100% return. But some of these price predictions we've had for other coins, like Ethereum, for instance, that was 3,300 a week ago, is now 4,200. And guys were predicting that was going to happen, and it did. It took off, right? Not that I'm an Ethereum bunny or anything, because I don't like it, but it's a good, stable coin. So that's a significant increase. And I'll show you some prices, some percentages on that over the 7-day market in a little while. In the meantime, I'm going to give this to Mark. Well, at this stage, there we go. Well, Mark, take it away.
Thanks, mate. Well, you just jogged my memory that I wanted to talk about what you were talking about, just with some slightly more information to add to it. So this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. So what you were just talking about then, how Bitcoin's going to take off, and we've still got a lot more to go left in the bull market, and we're going to probably see $200,000 Bitcoin. And you also said that seems like there's still really good opportunity left in the altcoin market. And we've just seen Ethereum kick off and jump from what some people, like you were saying, were calling is a bit of a low, and it's got to go up from here. Traditionally, when Ethereum starts to do that, that is a good sign that the altcoin season has started. And this chart that I'm showing you here, this is Bitcoin market cap for Bitcoin dominance. And as you can see, the dominance of Bitcoin is dropping substantially. We've had it up here. We've got 66% dominance at the top, and now we've fallen back down to 60%, and it's falling off a cliff, which that in no way shows Bitcoin's price, but it shows its dominance within the market, meaning that basically meaning that the altcoins, Ethereum, XRP, especially now, some people will start to argue that XRP shouldn't be classed as an altcoin. It's kind of becoming its own class, but it is still an altcoin. Yeah, it is still measured. That's exactly right. It's still measured as an altcoin, just like Ethereum is. Anything that isn't Bitcoin is an altcoin. But we can now see that everything else is starting to pick up steam and driving the dominance of Bitcoin down. These, as you can see on this indicator that I have here, one of them, this purple line that you'll see running up through here, that's the mean average. And the simple thing about this indicator that I have is when you're trading with this indicator, is if you see the blue and yellow lines cross up past the purple line, that's usually a good buy sign. And then you could see if you bought the dominance of Bitcoin, probably bought Bitcoin here, you probably would have gone pretty well. And then when you see the lines drop below the purple, that's a good time to sell. And that's what's happened here already. So I would have, if I was trading this, I would have tried to buy here, sell out here once it's dropped below, and you would have made your money. And then you probably maybe sell into some altcoins. You would have bought your Bitcoin here, sold out into some altcoins here, and then hopefully your altcoin started to pump as the dominance dropped. But yeah, that was.
So explain dominance, Mark. Just so people understand.
Well, dominance is just how much money is flowing into Bitcoin or into the altcoins. How much liquidity is being created within all the other coins. So you could probably seeing that the dominance is coming down. That might mean that Bitcoin's not just going to pump as fast as what all these other coins are going to pump now. So there's more money flowing through all these other coins. And because the market cap of the altcoins is a lot smaller, it takes a lot less money to flow through those coins to really get a good times, a good plus times 100 times 1,000 on your money. Where, like you were just probably explaining, where Bitcoin's they're predicting 200,000, that's not even 100% move. So if you're putting your money in and you were trying to hope, maybe playing the crypto casino, and you were trying to make a bit faster money, it's a good time to start having a look at some altcoins. Looking at this chart, we should start seeing the dominance for a little bit more for Bitcoin, though. As you can see here, the moves before recovery, your move can be, it'll fall. What do we have it fall there? So that's a 10% fall in dominance, and here we're at 6%. I think it was before I said. So we've got a 8%. So we might see a bigger fall, or we might just see a little bit more, and then you might see Bitcoin pick up again and start to run, and that's where the $200,000 comes back in. But in saying that too, you can, in a proper bull market, rising tide floats all ships. So you should continue to see your altcoins rise as well in that.
So for clarity, the way the dominance thing works is that Bitcoin is held on its own merit, just by itself. And then they take all of the other altcoins and marry it up. The amount of dollars that Bitcoin has as a market cap or flowing through compared to all of the other altcoins in sales for a particular period of time. So that's how you get your dominance. When Bitcoin is up, it means it's getting all of the sales, and the altcoins are not getting very many. And when it drops, the dominant drops, it means that the Bitcoin's not getting as much of the dollars anymore, and a lot of the altcoins are getting more dollars put into them. So that's how they do that dominance chart. And in every bull market, an altcoin rally comes with a big drop in Bitcoin dominance. So very interesting chart.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, the timing back here, I reckon timing at the top of the market here, I reckon we'll get rid of this. Sorry. Where is it? When was this? June 25. That's what I was going to say. It'd be interesting to see, like, looking at an XRP and XLM, some of the other big altcoins, when they started to run, if that's kind of correlates here with Bitcoin's drop. That would be also another interesting thing to look at. But I've got a clip. I've got a clip that will, did you want to keep doing anything on this Bitcoin dominance, or did you want to go into the bull market stuff?
Well, this is part of the bull market stuff. So
that's what I was kind of saying. I was saying, do you want to keep diving more? I've got another clip that it's.
What I might do is just
I was more going to say, what was your? Did you want to? What was your? Have you got more predictions on when you think this bull market's coming to an end?
I have my personal feelings on it, and we'll discuss them a little bit later in the show. What I might do though is,
well, I might save that clip for a little bit later than the next one.
I might just add, I'll remove you and put this up. All right, so this is showing what's been happening in the market over the last 7 days. We can see here, and it gives a really good example. So over the last 7 days, Bitcoin's managed to rally back up from this little drop that we had last week. So probably a good thing we didn't have a show last week because it was all down in the dumps and everything was red. But now it's moving up. Now you can see quite clearly here that over the last 7 days, that's this 7-day chart here, that we've had a Bitcoin has moved up 3.5%. But look what Ethereum's done. 21%. XRP, 12.6%. Right? Tether, 0. Well, what do you expect? It's dollar for dollar. Right? So, BNB, 8.2%. Solana's gone up 11.6%. So if you had BNB or Solana or even Lido staked ETH or even Dogecoin. Look, Dogecoin's gone up 19.5%.
Oh, wow.
Right? Tron, 3.2. Cardano's gone up 14. Wrapped ETH went up 21. Hyperliquid, 12. Chainlink, 32%. Right? Now, if you had some Chainlink versus some Bitcoin, if you had the same amount of dollars in Bitcoin, let's say I had $100 of Bitcoin, right? I would now have 103.5 or $103.50 in Bitcoin, right? But if let's go pick something. Let's go pick, I don't know, Stellar. If I had $100 in Stellar XLM, I'd now have $119.20. So that's the basic figures of it. And this is what you got to, this is where the bull market comes into it. So you just don't go pick anything willy-nilly though, because while all ships will rise, you want to pick the good ships, not the ones that have got a bit of a leak in them, right? So, but I think that's exceptionally interesting to look at, just to see what the changes have been. I mean, anybody who bought XRP, for instance, at $2.40, they're doing pretty well right now, right? Mark, who bought it at, a few cents, he's doing really, really well, right? But you get the idea. And we've got some price predictions on Bitcoin, Ethereum. I have anyway from some other YouTubers. XRP was one of the ones they mentioned. Solana's another one they mentioned. And Sol was the other one that they mentioned as well. Sui also. Solana and Sui. They mentioned that. So that's gone up 14.6% just recently. So we'll drop back onto those in a little while. And I'll bring us back here. And Mark's gone all fuzzy. You got a bad internet connection there today?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I've got horrible lighting. That could be the other thing too.
Well, you never know. You might have to sell a couple of XRP, mate, once that you're rich and buy yourself a light.
Yeah. I thought I had decent. I've also it's pouring with rain. That could have something to do with it. We've had insane. It's going to flood up here again. I'm pretty sure it just doesn't stop raining. It's I won't flood at my house, but everywhere else it just doesn't stop raining.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, mate. So what have you got? What's this video you're talking about?
Oh, so there's a Charles Hoskinson video that I found.
Okay.
Which
he is the creator of Cardano.
Do you think the 4-year cycle is still intact?
Give me a second. I'll pause
No,
first.
it's a different cycle.
Oh, he's a creator of Cardano, and I found this clip where he's talking about the 4-year cycle, the bull market that we're in currently, and is it over? His opinion is that it has changed. I haven't really formed an opinion yet of it. I'm kind of a sit back and wait and see what happens kind of thing, because I've seen a lot of manipulation in this market since I've been in it, and they seem to be able to just push prices wherever they want to. Hopefully, I'm hoping what he says is correct, and we see the 4-year cycle has evolved, and now that the institutions will take over, and we'll see the wheat sorted from the chaff, and the utility coins, that anything that has a proper purpose and can do something will hopefully kick in and rise. But yeah, this is an interesting clip. It's 2 minutes, but it's worth listening to. Remember, this bloke created Cardano. They've done doing deals with the US government, and I think they're kind of in cahoots with Ripple a little bit more, because I think they understand where they're going as well. So he knows what he's talking about.
All right, if you want to check that on.
Here's if you think the 4-year cycle is still intact.
No, it's a different cycle. It's something different going on, and I don't even think we're close to the peak of the bull market. People have gotten so pessimistic and cynical that they're like, "Oh, the market's dead," and we've ballooned. It's like, dude, clarity's not even passed yet. When clarity gets passed, the Mag 7 are going to enter the cryptocurrency space. You're going to have stable coins go above 1 to 2 trillion in issuance. You're going to have real world assets come in. The total market cap aggregate is going to be over 10 trillion. And so I call this the Giga Chad bull run. It's like the biggest bull run we've ever had. And when Bitcoin starts stalling, then the alts will pop. And so you're going to see great ratios that, come from this whole thing. And it'll die off a little bit, but it's like every time you have these windows, you go to new all-time highs, and then you stay at new all-time lows, and so it's no longer a 4-year cycle, because it's not retail led anymore. It's more led by institutions, and it's more led by massive investors. But simply put, there's just too much going on. The inventories on Bitcoin are too low. You got these DATs injecting gargantuan amounts of money into the market, and there's no way not to see a bull run, from all.
When do you think we hit? Wait, so what are we at today? 4 trillion, I think.
Yeah.
We're at 4 trillion. When do you think we hit 10 trillion?
Before the end of the cycle, and I think the cycle will last throughout 2026, because clarity is going to be the catalyst, I think, that really bootstraps it up. And the only reason why we haven't super taken off was that there was an irrational exuberance when Trump got elected, and then it didn't immediately pay off, and so people got a little crazy about it. And then, the tariffs and all the macroeconomic stuff kind of shook the market a little bit. But people are starting to look at crypto as a counter-cyclic and as a hedge asset to the collapse of the U.S. dollar, or to inflation, or other such things. So we'll get where we need to go, as an industry and a market, and especially when the 4th generations come in and they bring in all the real-world assets, because then suddenly you have all these yield products that come in that give 10%, 20%. Whether it be launch insurance, for rockets, or, exotic microfinance plays, or whatever the hell it is, they'll come in and then it'll just attract a ton of money.
So yeah, that.
Sorry.
What are your thoughts on that one?
Press that button.
What are your thoughts on that one, Vince?
Yeah, he's right. I mean, when real world assets come into the market, it's going to make a significant difference. So the cryptocurrencies that are working in that field is something that I'll try and pull that real world assets up in a minute. But we should do shout out to whoever did that interview. So did you know who that was?
Yeah, that is. Give me 1 second. I don't know who the interview is, but it's posted by Riz. This Riz XRP. I'll say thanks to that. She's pulled it from somewhere else. I'll find what it is. I think it's Blockworks. Maybe is it Blockworks? It
was up on the top corner of the video.
Shout out to Blockworks. Great interview with Charles Hoskinson there. great question.
Yep. So, and the beauty about us, we can show these videos at the moment because we've not monetized on this channel. So we make nothing out of this, unless, of course, somebody is kind enough to go down and join one of the platforms that you or I trade with and use our referral links, which are in the descriptions down below, just to let you people know. There's no money made at all here. So if you're watching this later and you think that we actually have some intelligence, that's still debatable. We're still working on that. But if you think we have some intelligence, then feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. We really wouldn't mind that thumbs up button or even a subscribe. I mean, we're only about 22 off the 500 mark, which might even get us actually monetized, unless they change the rules, which could happen.
That could happen.
You got some more there, Mark?
Depends if you want to go. Well, depends if you want to go into these price prediction things. That was
before
that's
we do that, we talked about real world assets. So let me just
see that's what I should probably. We should probably stick on the real world asset things a bit more, because that's a great idea. That's the.
All right.
It's probably the sticking point from what he was saying there is that, like, how big the market's going to get and how fast it's going to get. That $10 trillion. He's saying $10 trillion by the end of this cycle. And he's saying your cycle is going to go into 2026. So it's a lot of money to come in a year. It's a hell of a lot of money, and I don't think we've seen anything like that in the crypto market since it's been in the inception.
So real world assets, which is this is Banter Bubbles, which is a really good place to help you find the narratives. So if you go to banterbubbles.com, you can find, and they actually have a crypto channel. Not that I want you to go watch them, because they've got much more information than we have. And, not that I watch them at all. Yeah, telling a lie there. So shout out to Banter. They have a really good thing, but they have this Banter Bubbles option, and there's a filter button at the top here that you can choose, and you can choose to see via ranking. You can choose via my watch list, economic systems, which is Ethereum, Solana, etc., or narratives. And under the narratives is the real world assets tag, which we can see just here. So if I click on that and then click the filter out, these are all the ones that are doing real world assets. So if you're looking to invest in any of the cryptocurrencies, notice that that's Hashgraph, that's in there, right? So Hash is one of the ones. Link, which is also in the top 100, is also in there. These are some of and Injective, these are some of the places that are in the top 100 coins, what we basically call the blue chip coins. And you can go and purchase these from either of the two links that we have below. If you wish to look at putting something away for the future. Is it going to be a super move now? Yeah, there'll be a bit of a run on real world assets, but I think it's going to be a lot bigger over the coming years, as that's where everybody starts tokenizing their assets, like their houses and whatever. So I think there's a lot in there. So real world assets, but you can check out the other things like the gaming tokens and the layer 1, layer 2 platforms and all that sort of stuff. And for those who want to do a bit of gambling, don't pick any gambling tokens. Go and buy a lottery ticket from Voice of Freedom merch at VOF, or the merch.vofhq.com. That would be good. That's gambling. You can win $750. Right. And in the next one, $750 or maybe a gram of gold. But anyway, we're just throwing a little self-promotion in there. All right. Back to you, Mark. What do you have for us, mate?
I've got this. Well, depends if you want to go into price prediction stuff now.
Yeah, let's head there.
Let's head there.
We're already 35 minutes in the show. God, we can get back.
Yeah, I've got a clip. I don't think you want to hear the 8 minutes of it, but is the price prediction that you're talking about? Is it an XRP prediction? Vince, is that what you were talking about, or have you got another coin with another price prediction that you were talking about?
Yeah, no, I have different set of price predictions than that.
Ah, well, I'm just going to annoy everyone with an XRP price prediction. Because only because of the people that it came from. And it came from Easy A founders who are they're basically money managers, another money management fund kind of guys, where they were they've understood what this is and they've got in very early. And they're predicting $1,000 XRP
in this cycle
by 2030, not this cycle, by 2030.
Right, so
Why?
I think if I skip, let's see how good I am at just guessing where this
using the blockchain as opposed to just speculating on it. So think about anybody using their smartphone to actually access this whole ecosystem of things. And that's really the beginning of what's going to take this industry from essentially a niche of people who are sort of experimenting or using it, but very, very technical, to just the everyday person. Anybody can use it as simply as they can, go to Starbucks and buy a coffee or use Uber.
And both of you are here at the New York Stock Exchange, the center of traditional finance, or TradFi as we like to call it. So we have come a long way, and the IPO of Circle really brought stablecoin to the forefront when it comes to American retail investors. And I understand that you're looking at XRP here. So tell us why and the use case.
Definitely. So we work very closely together with Ripple. We work very closely to actually bring our massive community of over 1 million developers onto the XRP ledger. And so we've been working with them really to actually foster the next generation of companies to launch, both in the financial services sector and all the way, from like the biggest institutions, but actually down to, startups as well, through the hackathons that many people have seen we posted on social media, etc. So for us, we're really bullish on Ripple, on XRP in particular, because of the inroads they've already made into the TradFi sector. They've been, really, really sort of diligent about getting tons of different licenses all across the world to actually make sure that they are positioned to own the space when the institutions actually come into blockchain, into crypto, which they're already starting to do with stablecoins. That's obviously a huge use case, and Ripple has their own RLUSD stablecoin, which is awesome, and we've already started educating our community on them. And ultimately for us, we're just super bullish on the mission, what they're doing already in terms of, bringing all these big institutions. Hidden Road acquisition, for example, is a great example of how they're going to actually be utilizing the XRP ledger in the real world, settling trades, etc., much faster, cheaper than otherwise would be possible. And then obviously also international money payments. All of those different aspects really make it one of the formative companies of the next decade, in our opinion. And I know a lot of people have been asking for my price targets on XRP. And I think this is the first time I'll say it, but I think XRP is heading to $1,000 by 2030. So for me, it's, a super important project, and actually probably one of the most important projects out there at the moment.
And finally, we have less than 60 seconds here, but here we are about to head.
Pretty that was on like primetime TV in America. So they were they're pretty ballsy throwing that out. They would have copped so much shit for that, but good on them.
Interestingly enough, XRP made an enemy of one of the banks.
Oh, did it? Please,
if you didn't hear the news, Chase Morgan are looking to bring in ways to penalize crypto coming in. In particular, they're aiming at XRP and its ledger, right, where they're looking to charge an extra fee because they obviously don't want to see that movement, because Chase Morgan's money is made in that stuff, in shifting between banks and whatever. So they've blatantly come out and said that they're looking to try and limit the way crypto has an effect on them, and in particular XRP. So I thought that was an interesting story to read.
That is.
So when one of the biggest banks in the world comes after you, you must be making waves somewhere in the background that they're trying to head off the flood, effectively, the way I see it.
Yeah.
Now,
they tried the court cases, they've tried everything. And now they've got to do these tactics.
Yeah. And most people know that I'm not a huge XRP fan, but even still, you can't ignore the evidence, right? And that's basically where it comes down to. All right, so predictions. Now, the chart. One of the things that I was looking at on here, I'll put us back up in the screen so that we can go full screen and scare everybody again. One of the things that this works on is using Bitcoin as your base system. So if Bitcoin hits, say, 200,000, it will be this. If it hits, say, 250,000, then the price might be that. So the ranges that I'm talking about here are for this current bull run. They're guesstimations only, but there will be a lower range and a higher range that it will go to. And some of these prices are quite interesting. And you need to understand these are in American dollars. So whatever I tell you, times it by about 1.5% or 1.4%, and you're going to have what it's going to be in Australian dollars.
Yeah, you're even richer. It makes you even more fun.
Effectively, yeah. So let's say that Bitcoin does in fact get to $250,000 for the first run, and the second one I'm going to give you is, say, it gets there at $200,000. So what are we going to see prices for something like Ethereum, right? What's it going to be like at the peak of the bull run? So these are some guesstimates by some pretty renowned crypto people. So all this work, I give compliment to them, all right, and what they say. But let's take ETH, for instance, somewhere around the conservative end of the bull market. So this is the 200,000 Bitcoin. Ethereum might be worth roughly around $18,000 American. Right? It's currently at 4,000. So it doesn't take long to figure that out. So that's a 4.5 times increase. All right, 450% increase in total, if we want to go in percentages. Right, and it could get as high as $23,000 to $24,000 at the peak of the bull market. Now, guessing the peak of the bull market, that's a whole different subject we need to talk about. Another one would be Solana. Right now, I've just got to go and check what Solana's prices are right now. So give me half a check. So Solana's currently sitting at around $182 American to buy a Solana token or coin. All right. So low end for Solana, they reckon around $830 odd at the peak of the bull market. And a high end, just a bit over $1,000 for a Solana coin. So if you've bought one at $180 odd now American, which will be 250 plus Australian, all right, and then you get it for, let's take the low end, 800. That's basically, once again, another 4.5% increase. Of 4 times, 450% increase.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, get my figures right there. All right, BNB is another one that you've got as well, which is obviously the Binance chain and the Binance token that did some significant movement in the last bull market, and the same thing's going to happen around here again this time. Low end for BNB, and BNB is currently $815, which has shot up hugely because that was down around 600 earlier, and it's been as low as 200. in this last bear market. So they reckon in this one, they estimate the low end be around about $3,600. And if it goes really well, around $7,200.
Interesting.
So that's a big increase from the 815 that it is now. All right, we'll go down a little bit more, which is SUI. So SUI at this stage, I'm going to just quickly find the SUI chart. You can buy a SUI coin right now for $3.96 American. All right, which would be what, about nearly $6 Australian. All right. So SUI, their expected return on that, conservative, around $16. Right, $16 American. It's currently not quite $4 American. 4 times, 400% increase again. You see a pattern happening in here, right? And coming out the other end, it could get as high as $28 per coin. But a lot of the trouble that our guys have is the fact that can we really afford to buy a $3 coin? And how many coins can we buy or a $4 coin? You know, it doesn't take long to delete. You know, at $4, you have $100 to spend. Well, you don't get a lot of coins. But then, once again, $100, and then in 3 or 4 months' time, it's worth $400. Try and get that from a bank, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think you're going to get it. They also did a Ripple prediction. Da 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 da. He's waiting. Look at him grinning. Look at him grinning. All right. Their Ripple prediction, and I tend to agree, I've heard this in more than 1 or 2 places, all right, is a low end of around $12 and a high end of up around $16 per Ripple.
Oh, that's way too low. That's way too low.
Yeah, it may go much higher than that.
Yeah.
I think it was 16 or 25. No, I think it was 25.
Yeah, that'd be 25 would be
25.
more
So
what I've seen from the blokes that, because I've followed some super duper XRP guys that are just chartists for that kind of stuff, and yeah, that's about, they're saying like 30 might be a top end kind of thing, which is US. It's a big difference from where we're at now. That's a 10 times.
Yeah. So it's very interesting on where and I think these are reasonable predictions too as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're not going to make it, not unless you've got a few $1,000 million that you can trade it. You're not going to make a huge fortune. But when you can increase what you have by 400%, you know, in over this period, then fantastic. What a way to go. Now, we've got a couple of things that popped up here I saw before, and they're worth mentioning. The people are talking about the slowdown in September. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. There might be one more little pullback, right? But unless the whole financial markets crash, that's a whole different situation. We're not going to discuss that.
Well, it won't go straight up, so we'll definitely see some hills in the hills and hollows happening for sure. It won't go straight up, so we're definitely got to see some pullbacks to allow the sell-offs for the traders and all that kind of stuff to kick in.
Yep, and people should take advantage of those little dips to try and purchase some if they can.
Buy the dips, people. Buy the dips.
Here's another one around here. Peter Grace says there that there's definitely a big slump around October, November for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Cash up or cash out. True. Some people start saying, I can't afford to buy Christmas presents for my kids this year, so therefore they hack into their reserves like I did to live. So that's why I have very low reserves, but still.
Yeah, you definitely generally see sell-off into the end of the year.
Yeah.
Then it kicks back in. That's why I think I think I said that on a previous show. I'd expect to see a bit of a sell-off and then a kick back into 26 and go again. But it'll be
Well,
interesting.
if you follow the gentleman from Cardano, he's suggesting that sort of will happen. Are we going to have another bear market? I believe so. Right?
Yeah,
It may just take a little longer to get going. However, this is where you have to start making your choice if you're in crypto. When do you get out? When does it finish?
Yeah, well,
Tell me about it.
Well, this can be quite a question to answer. It depends how what kind of psychology you're looking at the market and what your time period is, what you think your reasons for buying cryptocurrency in the first place. Why are you buying cryptocurrency? Do you believe, are you buying into that it is the change of the system and that it's going to be the new thing? Or are you just trying to make some money and make a quick buck and pay for the things you need to pay for in the short term? It depends how you look at it. For me, I'm long term. I've kind of done enough research where I'm sold that I think something's coming long term for this stuff, and we're going to see some really obscene prices that we can't even fathom into the future. And for me, I think that it's worth holding most of what I own into the future. I'm probably going to try and pull some kind of profit out and pay for some things I need to pay for, but I'm going to try and hold most of it into the future because I think that there's something coming where it's going to be the new thing and it'll be worth holding on to. I probably forgot the thought I was I was about to say.
Well, I mean, if you're picking under the narratives, then real world assets and AI, two bigger moving fields that I can see personally from my IT experience is where this is going to move. Of course, the movement of those assets is picking the right chain, which is where XRP has a fairly decent run at it. So does XLM. Circle, which is now involved with Ripple, so that makes life interesting. So in those areas, but me personally, the way I'm looking at it, if it gets high enough, and I think, around November, December, it's going to hit peak, and at that point, I may take out what I need to. I might leave a little bit in there, but that's where I look at taking profits. Now, I may miss the mark 100%, right? But if I've made a 400% gain on my money and it goes up 800%, I'm not going to care. I still made 400%. It's better than watch it go to 800% and then see it drop down to 100%.
Yeah.
And then go, oh, shit, I should sell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you don't want to round trip this stuff. I've watched a lot of things go up high and then come right back down. It's not fun. You definitely want to take your profit if you can, and that's that short term mindset. Where for me, I think you just jogged my memory from the point that I actually wanted to get to when I was speaking just before. But for me, the long term thing is, if I'm buying into cryptocurrency now because I believe that it's somewhat of a hedge. It's not technically a hedge, but it is definitely acting as a hedge or a bet against inflation that's happening to our dollar, where they're inflating our money into nothing, and our purchasing power of our dollar is disappearing every day. And for me, like I was saying on the previous show, that I've used XRP as a bank, where basically betting that by the end of the year, I'll have more money in XRP, more value in XRP than I would if I just saved it in Australian dollars due to inflation and our money being debased day to day. My purchasing power by the end of the year would be higher in XRP than it would be in Australian dollars. So my argument for 10, 15, 20 years down the track when we see the Australian dollar is completely debased to nothing. If I hope millions and millions of dollars in value of XRP, what would I sell that XRP for that would hold its value still? Why would I sell my XRP for Australian dollars when they're just going to debase that Australian dollar into nothing? I'm going to eventually lose all the money that I've made, or the value I've made in my XRP. I'm going to lose it to the Australian dollar because they're just going to inflate everything out and debase the money. Where XRP, being deflationary itself, being burnt off as it's used, the scarcity thing comes in. It technically has to become more valuable as it becomes scarcer. So my question always to people is, when you're going to sell your XRP or you're going to sell your Bitcoin, what are you going to sell it for? What are you going to do assets? If you're buying a house and you need a roof over your head, that's a pretty good investment.
Yeah.
If you need a car, great investment. But if you're going to buy a really flash car that you probably don't need and you're living in a crap house, maybe I'd be like, let's hold on a little longer and we can maybe get a house. But that's my point is always, it's like, what am I selling my value for? If the whole reason I got it in the first place was because I identified that there was a problem with the Australian dollar, with the dollars that they've issued us all around the world to use, that's a farcical game and that it's Federal Reserve crap. And I want the freedom money. I want people's money, which I hope is XRP. Bitcoin is supposedly, everyone reckons it's still people's money. I don't know. It seems like China's money a lot at the moment too. But they got a lot of it. But yeah, they did a lot of mining. But yeah, it's people's money. What would I sell my XRP for? What would I sell my Bitcoin for? And at the moment, there's nothing other than gold or silver maybe that's gonna keep holding its value. But you're then playing the game of, well, am I losing value or am I not adding to my value as fast as I could be just because how fast the cryptocurrencies move? If I'd put all the money I put into silver nearly 10 years ago now, or 9 years ago, if I'd put all of it into cryptocurrency instead of splitting it up like I did because I was being safe, I'd be so much more, I'd have a hell of a lot more money in my account than I would from just the crypto app, because I'd have a hell of a lot more XRP, a hell of a lot more Bitcoin than I did own. Where my silver's gone up, but the cryptocurrencies have just outpaced it like 10 to 1. It's all something like that. It's insane. But so that I don't know if anyone wants to answer. If you've got a good answer for me, what are you going to sell your money for? What are you going to sell your XRP or your crypto for? What are you going to trade your value for?
Some of that time over the last year has been me just being able to live, I tell you. So it's come a long way. Like paying electricity bills or getting solar put on the house. I spent some of mine, like 5,000 of my crypto, on getting some extra solar put on the house. Now, that's worked out because it's paid me back because of the battery system, etc., and so on. But you were just speaking about silver there at the moment. Silver's spot price right now is $58.76.
Yeah,
so
it's doing pretty good,
right?
And we're almost entering like where it hasn't got any resistance on its.
Apparently they have a chart very similar to the Bitcoin dominance chart, the silver dominance chart, or gold dominance chart, and silver's making a significant dent in that at the moment. So maybe they're going to stop holding the price of silver down. That would be interesting,
because they definitely that's the other one they manipulate. I've picked everything they manipulate. I'm absolutely killing
it. Peter, God, I got to put this up, Pete. I signed my loan XRP to top up my Mrs. Birthday spending dollars, but hey, it was still up and doubled in no time, and we'll buy it back on the dip.
Yeah, no,
I hope that there was an extra benefit that came from that. Pete, right? I mean, the prize may have been well worth the spend. Let me just say that. So I'll just leave that one alone to your imagination, people. Got to be careful. I'll get us demonetized. Oh, hang on, we're not monetized, so it doesn't matter. But effectively, guys, the next couple of months is going to be very, very interesting on what's going on, where, etc. For all of those who are aware, Ainsley's just opened up in Brisbane, I think, a bullion centre. Carl did a show on that last night. Well, he did a showing. He gets to go out and enjoy himself having a beer and leaves me to drive the machine. So, but as far as that, there was a thing that came up there. Peace and quiet. You're trying to get in trouble, Pete. Okay. Now, this one here, right? Doesn't the tax man get around 50%? There's got to be a way around that. I think they've changed the laws. I'm not fully up to date, but what they were doing was capital gains tax, right? And it's a 50% capital gains tax for the first year of investment. Then it drops to 33%. So if you've held your cryptocurrencies more than a year, then you get past that 50% capital gains tax. Right.
Is it still 33% after the year? I thought it was more like, I thought that was possibly with this, because silver and gold like 20 and 10 on the capital gains. Like it was 20% initially, and then it's 10, I think, after that from the tax rules I looked up. But I thought cryptocurrency was still following the same as that. But there you go. Though I think we're going to get a break with that, with the ruling that happened in South Australia. Was it South Australia? In with the Bitcoin ruling?
Yeah. There was something raised about that. It was deemed as money.
Yeah.
Or something. So, yeah, that would be worth following up. I mean, I don't make enough, so it doesn't matter. But, someone like yourself, Mark, who's working and is paying tax, etc., it has a big effect on what's going on with you.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, it make a big difference. I hope they bring that right down, because I don't want to give them 30%. That's ridiculous.
I'm in the Defence Department and she is the War Department. Yeah, mate, never go to war with the other half. You're not going to win that one. I'm sorry. I learned that lesson a long time ago. So yes, keeping the peace. Good on you, mate. Way to go, Pete. Way to go. We're just gonna have you. You're going to become the third star of the show, mate. At this rate. All right. So that little look over the shoulder was him saying, "My little one's running around the floor, and it's time for us to head off and get going." We've been going for an hour and 4. Excuse me for a sec. So this old bugger and that young fella, we're going to say goodnight for now. And we still haven't worked out a really decent closing section, have we? We haven't figured out just how we're going to do that close.
Not even close. We haven't even got close.
Not yet. So I don't know. From two Aussie blokes in a 2-up situation, we're betting on the crypto. And this bloke's going to say, "We'll catch you later." And that bloke's going to say,
"I'll catch you next week." Have a good week, guys.
Yep. Invest wisely, people. Look and invest wisely. Catch you all later. Wave bye.
Oh.
Look.
Just for all you people, there's the young'un. That's the little Mark. There he is.
There he is.
Say hello, little Mark. What's his name?
Albie.
Albie.
Hey,
All right,
Albie.
people.
Hello.
That's Albie. Right. We are still live, just to let you know, Mark. Catch you all, guys. See you
Have
later.
a good night, guys.